Start with Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, you have another team tonight that is fighting for playoff position. Just how critical energy aspects of the game with the way your team, starts out tonight when you're playing a team like that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, or two things that we've talked about here for 2 days are our transition defense, where we've really struggled, really ever since the trade and as of late, we're 29th in transition defense. And that's something that, although we don't have any practice time, we can get better at just by, being more committed to it. Then the second one is the defensive rebounding. And they're a very good offensive rebounding team. I think they're 9th in the NBA in offensive rebounding percentage. And that's another one where that's not something that you have to practice every day. So those are two things with limited practice time that we can get better at, just by being locked into it. And there's two things against this team that if we don't do, that's when they can get away and have big nights.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, not necessarily what you've learned about Gary Harris, but what have you seen from Gary since he started to be able to play regularly?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that stands out when you watch him play is his understanding of the game. He's very high IQ. He has very good instincts at both ends of the floor. I mean, he's an exceptional individual defender. He does things in terms of, containing the ball, the way he uses his hands, the way he anticipates and reads things off the ball that you just can't teach. And I like the way he is. If you think about it, he's the only veteran player playing. And you're talking about a guy that a year ago made the play that decided, their series with Utah. So he's gone from being on a team that, was playing in deep into the playoffs and significant games to here where, these games, they're not meaningless, of course, but, for a guy like him, it's a totally different world. And I have a great appreciation for the way he's trying to support the younger guys and help them out.
James Hill, Black News Channel.
Hey, Coach, great to see you again. Can you talk a little bit about two franchises that you've been a part of? And I know you're focused on Orlando, but when you look over and you do see Charlotte, some of the things that go through your mind when these two programs play against each other?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, one thing in this league is you flip the switch pretty quickly. You learn how to do that. Unfortunately, this is 21 years for me. So in 21 years, I've been fired a few times. Like when you drive into the parking garage and you stick the card in and the door doesn't move up or down, that's when you have to know you start getting the resume out. That's happened for me a lot. But this was, I enjoyed it here a great deal. And, we got here, they had been, they'd had the worst winning percentage in the NBA for the few years before we got here. We made a dent in it, but we never really got over the top. Regardless of where you start, you've got to have playoff success. And so I'll have great memories of here. I still have a really good relationship with Michael. We communicate, from time to time. I've got special relationships with a lot of the guys that we coached here. But I'm hoping that in the end, in Orlando, it'll be different in that we will be able to get over the top and have the type of playoff success that you want to have.
Sam Purley, Hornets.com.
Hey, Coach Cliff, hope you're doing well. You guys have seen LaMelo ball four times this year now, counting preseason. What just your general first impressions of him and how he's played this season?
Well, I think the one thing that he's done is, he shot the ball from range a lot better, I think, than people thought that he would, right? I think as we go into the game tonight, he's like 37% from free. But his passing, his awareness of where his teammates are, how to get them in the ball in positions where they can be successful. He's like obviously like a veteran player. And their pace when he's on the floor, I believe they're like 5th. When he's off the floor, it's like 17th. I mean, he's a game changer. And he's exciting to watch. He has size. And again, though, to me, it's his awareness, just his basic basketball instincts and his passing ability that make him special.
Thank you.
Cody Taylor, USA Today Rookie Wire.
Hey, Coach, you've kind of warned us about the stats a player or team puts up in the final 15 games or so of the season, but what have you made of the way RJ has played over his last 4 or 5?
No, I think better and better. And it's not, for me, again, is guys have to be two-way players. And the one thing I like about him as I get to know him is he's coachable. And he understands that there has to be a defensive component to what he's doing if he wants to get to the point where, on a team that's a good team, that he can play every night. And, if I wouldn't even say it doesn't matter what position you are now. If you don't have a certain aspect at both ends of the floor to your game now, it's hard to play every night on good teams. If you're just a great defender, but you don't score at all, you're hurting your team in every possession on offense, And if you're, a guy that can't defend your position, or that, you can't, you're so weak defensively that, teams you can't switch or use different coverages when you're on the floor, you better be 25 a night. So I think for all of these guys, one of the things that has to happen, or one that's happening is, and it's what I like about him, he asks questions and he understands it's what you do at both ends of the floor. He has a good attitude, and he learns things quickly. And that's one of the more important things that I've learned in the short time he's been here with us.
Philip Rossman-Reich, Orlando Magic Daily.
Hey, Coach. I guess the first question is what is the starting lineup for tonight, and if Mo's going to be included in there? I think it's his 4th career start. What's the keys for him? Now that he's kind of being in that elevated role with Wendell out, and what have you seen from him in those moments?
Yeah, so Mo's going to start. It'll be the Cole, Gary, Dwayne, Victor, and Mo. And to me with Mo, I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a consistent, our conversations have really stayed the same since he got here. First of all, get to the point where you can sprint the floor, offense to defense, defense to offense, every possession you're on the floor. Because he can run, and it's a skill, and it's something that puts pressure on the defense and then also allows you to get your defense set, so it's important that he does it. The second thing is, and I think he's doing this really well, go after every rebound at both ends of the floor. So offensively, go after the rebound. If you don't get it, sprint back. And defensively, and he's, the other night, he did a good job with that at both ends of the floor. Offensively right now, his biggest strength is his range shooting. So, I mean, he's got to find ways, which again, he didn't shoot the ball as well the other night, but he will, is he can put pressure on the defense with the flare game. But I think the next step for him is, and again, this has been 3 years, develop a roll game, a short roll game, and a flare game. And if you can do that in today's NBA, you can put pressure on the defense. And then depending on how good a screener you are, really sets all of those things up. So I think that those are the things. I'm still going to say, people, and I'm not making excuses for him, but I get the comments about the conditioning. People still don't realize, he's never really had a chance to get into the rhythm he could since he got the COVID in the bubble. He wasn't able to do anything that the other guys did in play stoppage between the bubble and when we started. So he was significantly behind when we started. So everything that he's doing now, in terms of conditioning and stuff, he's still playing catch up. And this is good for him. It's a good experience for him. And I talked to him yesterday. even playing fatigued. Our guys are tired. You know, all the teams are tired. I know some of our guys, younger guys, are not used to playing minutes like this. And with this condensed schedule and the travel, it's harder. But like I told them yesterday, it's also a good experience for all of them, and, you know, in Mo, to go through it.
All right. Thank you, Cliff.